Hi, this is Scott from Collectiv. Today we're going to be comparing Excel and Power BI. Are you an advanced Excel user who's getting towards the end of your SUMIFs, VLOOKUPs, and confusing formulas, and they're driving you crazy trying to do sales analysis? Well, today I'm going to show you how Power BI is not only a better tool for sales analysis, but exactly how and why you should care about it. So, this is a pretty common occurrence here in the business world. You're Joe Montana. You've got your boss over here who says, I need the total of blue products sold in Washington for 2020. Now, he's a big fan of Washington. He's obviously a big fan of blue. He's got his blue shirt and his blue pillars. So, you want to give him what he needs because you're a successful employee. So, you've got some facts. He wants blue. He wants Washington. He wants 2020. Now, you know you have your sales data downloaded from your database with a lot of tables here. We've got data information, we've got product information, customer information, and it's all just sitting here in some tables that were downloaded into Excel. So you know that the sales data is probably where you're going to get this information from. So we've got some data tables here, and a lot of it is just sort of key values that don't really make sense to us up front. But we know total sales amount here sounds like what we're looking for. And we do have some key values. So we have product key, we have date key, we have reseller key, and deducing that these could all be useful for us, we're thinking this product data, we'll use this product key and we can make some kind of lookup to pull in this color. With date, maybe we can use this date or the date in the sales table. And with reseller data, we can find out where these products were sold. So we've got a state here with a reseller key. So we go to our sales data and we're thinking, well, the first thing we need to do is to create a summary of this column, which would be our total sales. So what we're going to do is type in a formula, which is a subtotal formula, which will take our filtered value of the total of the column. So let's say we wanted to filter it for any of these values, ship date key or anything. This formula is going to respond to that value. Now, that's just a total of our entire sales data. That's not what our manager's looking for. So we're deciding, okay, we need to bring in some more values into this table so we're able to filter it the way we want. So the first one we're going to do is color, because we need blue. So we're going to write a VLOOKUP formula. So if you're an advanced Excel user, you know a VLOOKUP is going to take an existing value in your table, cross-reference it to another table's key value, and bring you back a column value based off of that lookup value. So we're VLOOKing up our product key into our product table and returning the column of data in the fifth column. And we'll show you what that looks like. So in our product data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our fifth column is color. We're using our product key. We're sucking in that data and spitting it out here. So we're going to follow this process for our other tables that we need to get this information for our manager. I've already done them for here and labeled them. So we have a VLOOKUP to our reseller table to get in the state, another VLOOKUP into our reseller to get the country in case we needed that, and then a left formula to take our order date year and just give us the first 4 digits of the year. So now we can filter by year. So our boss was saying we need blue for Washington in 2020. Well, it just took us a few minutes, but we've created some VLOOKUPs with our table. We're going to be able to filter for just blue, filter for just Washington, and filter for 2020. And our subtotal is giving us a grand total of $248,099.38. So it didn't seem too painful, right? But we did have to do a lot of manual entry, and if we ever want to do this again, we're going to have to either save this file, remember what the heck we did, and by the time you have to do it again, a lot of those changes could make it so that you don't remember where you saved it, and the business question has changed. Now they want some other fact. So it is very manual. We got the answer, but it's not very repeatable, and it's not really ideal for a long-term solution. So you've finished your Excel work. You've got your number for your boss, and he's asking you to do it again. So you didn't save that file. You lost it. Who knows what happened to it? You're saying, I think it's about time we try Power BI. I've heard it's great. Everyone loves it. I should start joining the revolution here. So you open Power BI, and you've actually been given a data model with the existing data that you had in Excel. So it looks a little different here. You've got products and sales and dates and reseller. So it's all that same information that was in the Excel table. It just looks a little different here because we've added relationships. So what relationships are is basically a shortcut to VLOOKUP. So instead of creating a single column VLOOKUP where we're looking up one value, we're going to connect the product keys from the sales table to the dimension table. So a dimension table up here is a product, and it's basically a single value for each product with all the definitions you might need for that. So if we look at it in a table view, it looks a lot like Excel here. We've got our product key, which is a unique value, and then we have a lot of other definitions for that single unique value. So color, list price, model, category, SKU, that's all contained in this dimension table of product. And those dimension tables are repeated for the other categories like reseller, customer, sales order. So if we look at them in this table view, you've got your unique value customer key and then definitions about that key. Now that key also lives in your fact table. So our fact table here is sales, and it's the same table we were making our calculations on in Excel. So we've got sales quantity, we've got sales amount, we've got unit price, we've got all sorts of things in here, all the facts of the transactions that happened with that data. So in table view, our sales looks exactly like it did in Excel. This is the same table we were looking at. So we've got sales amount, we've got product cost, we've got quantity, ship date, all the information that was in Excel. Now these key values, which were also in Excel, are now given into those relationships with the dimension tables. And what that means for you as a sales analyst is that when your boss asks you to find this again, you can now utilize the power of Power BI instead of Excel and the data models to simplify this task. So I've created it as an example here. All I've done here is pulled in our sales amount column. So this is sales amount. Now, the proper way to do this is to use a measure to explicitly call this column. So we're going to call this sales amount. And we're going to create the sum of sales amount. So this is DAX. This is the Power BI programming language. This particular measure and DAX formula is very similar to what you would find in Excel, a sum. Now, by explicitly calling out this measure, we're telling it exactly what we want the program to do. So there's nothing left up to chance. So although we could pull in the sales column into this value, which I had, I'm going to replace it with the sales amount measure that we've just created. So we're just going to format that as a currency with 2 decimal places. There we go. So we've got our sales amount, and I've pre-filtered these dimension tables to give us the value we had in Excel. So all these are filters, which are basically like the filters at the top of your Excel table, and they're letting us choose exactly what we want to see without having to do any further calculations or VLOOKUPs or lefts or any other formulas which we had to use in Excel. Now, the reason this is working is our data model. So if you picture these slicers wrapped around here, our sales amount, it's very similar to how our model is shaped here. So we've got product, we've got reseller, we've got date, and all we're doing with those slicers is creating values which filter our total sales amount to show exactly what we wanted to do. Now in Power BI, we use relationships and key values to be able to make that happen, where in Excel, you have to create those relationships on the spot with VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP or index match. Okay, so now you've got your number. You've filtered for blue, 2020, and you've filtered for Washington, and you've displayed your number for your manager, and he's super pumped. When you need to create this report again, it's going to be super simple thanks to Power BI, the data model, and the DAX language, which will allow you to not only create this number as many times as you need, but also any number that he can dream up.